Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner, and this is Strade Bianche. Now, we've all been looking forward to it because we know it's the white roads, the sands here in Italy. It's going to be 184 kilometers, about 110 miles in length, 11 sections of white sands, climbs all over the place. And it's basically, this is the start of really the big semi-classics, right? I know it started up in Belgium when we're talking about Kuurne, Brussels, Kuurne, but right now is when we start getting really excited because we're going to start here at Strade Bianche, and then of course tomorrow we're starting Paris-Nice and then Trino Adriatico on Monday. Now, first thing, when the cameras come on, 3 riders in the front group. Alessandro Di Marquez there for Jayco, Ivan Romeo from Movistar, Eric Sven Bystrom from Intermarché. These guys got about a 4.5 minute lead on the peloton behind. Now, the peloton's not really being organized by a bunch of different teams up there, but I did see Quick Step at the front, so I thought they were getting a little motivated for Julian Alaphilippe to try to get a second win here at Strade Bianche. But like I said, not one full team up there really controlling the peloton full gas. Jumbo-Visma were up there, but what I really noticed early here at Strade Bianche, Jumbo-Visma didn't have full numbers when the cameras are coming on. Not that 7 drilling it like we saw up there in Belgium when we're talking about Omlet Het Nieuwsblad and Kuurne Brussels Kuurne. So here's going to be an exciting race, and anything's up for grabs when the cameras come on. With that 4.5 minute gap, those 3 riders up front throwing down, trying to get as much time as they can before they get deep into Strade Bianche. Behind, things start getting interesting. Starts going curb to curb with about 75 kilometers to go. When we get in the dirt road, we're going to see the first real crash here. And involved in that crash is going to be Walters from Jumbo-Visma, Madouas from FDJ, and Carlos Rodriguez from Ineos has gone down in this crash too. Now that's going to be a hit on Team Ineos, but they got strong hitters on the team, and it's one guy going down. So up front, we start seeing there's a little bit more action with some flat tires happening, and it's Davide Formula, UAE Team Emirates, that gets a flat. Now he's blazing on the pedals. He's clearly got some form, the Italian rider, because he's flying by the cars, flying by the back end of the group, and we're going to see his mug at the finish here at Strade Bianche. So don't worry too much because this guy is on form. Now, we get up to right about 55 kilometers to go, and this is when the action really starts. Jumbo-Visma's on the front. I don't understand what their MO is because they've already had riders getting flats out the back. I've seen a couple riders riding the tail end, and now when you look at the front, there's only 2 riders that I can see, and one's riding the front, and I think the other's Tis Benoot. Now, Walters might be somewhere in there, but he's wearing a national championship jersey, so I couldn't spot him out. But up front, Jumbo-Visma's throwing down. This is going to be the first mistake Jumbo-Visma make because their team's not in full force like we saw up at the Belgium Classics with just one rider on the front. Now, the first big attack comes in the form of EF Education's Alberto Bettiol, and he's got Quick Step rider Baggioli along for company. And then we look in the back of the picture. It's Tom Pidcock flying out of the front of the group trying to bridge across. He will make it across, and I'm sitting on the Chesterfield like, oh, Tom, what are you doing? Now, he gave an interview before the race started. Remember, he gave up racing the Cyclocross World Championships for today's event, especially for today's event at Strade Bianche, because he wants to be able to win today. And he's attacking with 52 kilometers to go. He bridges up to the 2 riders in front, and he doesn't hang around too long because as soon as the dirt roads start going down, Tom Pidcock throws in what he does best, descending skills, and he drops the EF Education rider Bettiol and the Quick Step rider Baggioli. Those 2 riders will go back to the group, and Tom Pidcock now is flying, trying to close the gap up to the riders up front. Ivan Romeo, he gets dropped from those front groups of 2, but the time gap is coming down, and Tom Pidcock is on a mission to bridge across to those 2. Behind, we start seeing some action because it's Andreas Krohn, the Lotto Soudal rider. He throws in his attack. He's got Valentin Madouas from FDJ and Peo Bilbao from Bahrain Victorious latched on. Now, just after that attack, when they were going into the left turn, what's considered maybe the peloton back there flies to that turn. Bettiol crashes, and Ineos' Magnus Sheffield goes down. Now this is looking bad now all of a sudden. You got Tom Pidcock up the road solo, and originally when he was going, I didn't like this move. I said it was bad already. But they did have 2 riders in that back group. They had Ben Tollett and they had Magnus Sheffield, both quality riders. But now you're losing Magnus Sheffield. You only got left Ben Tollett, and Tom Pidcock still up the road solo without any company of really pulling along with them. Now behind, you start seeing some chaos. Things start splitting up. And when we look, guess who's missing the move? It's Matthew van der Poel who's missing the break up front. It's blowing up all over back there in what's considered the peloton. Matthew van der Poel's throwing down. He's got 5 guys sitting on his wheel, but nobody wants to really take a pull with Matthew van der Poel, right? Up front, that group of 3 that's chasing Tom Pidcock, they're trying to get up there, but they're not gaining enough time as another group of about 6 riders comes up to those guys. And Matthew van der Poel's group that has Ben Tollett from Ineos is in there. They actually can't make the bridge, and with about 25 kilometers to go, they're going to get caught from what's left of the peloton being led by Bora Hansgrohe, trying to get up to this front group. And there's about 15 riders scattered all over the front, with, of course, Tom Pidcock, who did eventually catch the 2 riders left up there, Eric Bierstrom, the Intermarché rider, and Alessandro Di Marche from Jayco Alula. Now, with those riders, they're 3. Nobody's really helping out with Tom Pidcock. He got a little help from the Intermarché rider, but then he's going to get dropped. And the only rider is Alessandro Di Marche holding on to Tom Pidcock's wheel, not taking a pull at all. Tom Pidcock's going solo up there, doing everything he can to hold off the group behind. And the gap is only about 30 seconds. When you look in that group, you got all kinds of teammates, right? FDJ have 2 teammates in there with Madouas and Gregory. Jumbo-Visma have 2 teammates. They got Valters and Thies Benoot in this group. And then, of course, Bahrain Victorious have Peo Bilbao and Mate Mohoric. Intermarché right there with Bierstrom. He's got company because he has Rui Acosta, the ex-Road World Champion from 2013. So when I'm sitting on the Chesterfield, I'm like, wow, man, with only a 30-second gap that's dropping down to 25 often, and multiple teammates in this back group, how can Tom Pidcock hold off these guys? The gap hasn't really extended up there, never went past 30 seconds, and now we're hitting this section 9. Well, up front, Tom Pidcock, he's throwing down hard, and he's going to drop Alessandro Di Marche, the Jayco rider that was the last rider from the original break to hold on. With him coming off, Tom Pidcock now knows he doesn't have to worry about company going all the way into the finish here at Strade Bianche. Now behind, what's happening with Sector 9? All of a sudden, Mate Mohoric, the Bahrain Victorious rider, is the first rider to throw an attack. I don't like this either because you got to be able to bring back Tom Pidcock up front. And so far, no one's been able to bring the gap down with 2 riders, 3 riders, sometimes 4 riders back there, 6 riders chasing. No one can get the gap really down into the dangerous level. Mate Mohoric's attack gets brought back, and then it's Thies Benoot, Jumbo-Visma. He throws in his attack. He's got some company along with him in the form of Madouas and Rui Costa. Now behind, Valters. Valters is new to Jumbo-Visma, and he jumps across from his group, and he's coming up to Thies Benoot. Thies Benoot throws up his arm. He's all upset at Valters back there for bridging across. But this was a fantastic move from Valters and well executed. He waited till all the guys behind were a little bit tired, and then he threw across the effort and bridged across up to the 3 riders in front, and one's his teammate. Now, instead of arguing Thies Benoot, just get on the front and start driving it. Instead, a couple more riders come across because Mate Mohoric makes it up there. And then the American Quinn Simmons, Trek Segafredo, they were aggressive early in this race, and Quinn Simmons has made himself up into this leading group of 6 that's chasing Tom Pidcock. Now, things are getting excited because the time gap's starting to come down. We start seeing it get under 30 seconds. It's around 20 seconds to go. Now we're going to come into the last big section that has 18% pitches on this climb. Now, we know Tom Pidcock's got to fly, and the group behind has always been hesitating, causing all kinds of chaos back there because Thies Benoot won't rotate through smoothly. And other riders, because of Thies Benoot not rotating through, start attacking like Mate Mohoric. We come into this final real last climb here. We know right now Tom Pidcock's got to go 100%. He throws down, and behind it's Attila Valters that's just throwing in a massive attack. He's bridging the gap. He's got it down to about 10 seconds, but can't quite close up on Tom Pidcock, who will go over the top and then just start throwing in big-time efforts. Now behind that group keeps getting smaller and smaller because Quinn Simmons just couldn't make it over that last big section climb here at Strade Bianche. So now we got 5 up front. Now they're chasing like crazy. And Jumbo-Visma have 2 riders, Valters and Thies Benoot up there. But Thies Benoot keeps playing all kinds of games and opening up gaps on the groups back there. And he's got Rui Costa with him. You can't open up a gap on Rui Costa. Nobody does the least amount of work in this group if it's not Rui Costa, because he's an ace. He has won many races, in the Road World Championships in 2013 was one of them when he outsmarted the 2 Spaniards, Alejandro Valverde and Joaquim Rodriguez, to win that Road World Championship championships. So you know if you're Tiesj Benoot, there's no way you're going to outsmart Rui Acosta and do less work than him, even if you do have a teammate up there. So they'll close the gap, but it's costing more time to Tom Pidcock. With about 9 kilometers to go, there's still a chance to bring back Tom Pidcock because the gap's at about 15-20 seconds going into a hard left turn. Matej Mohoric, what does he do? Exactly what he does, right? Go downhill fast. He didn't win Milan-San Remo without descending skills, and he's putting him to full work. We look at the picture, Matej Mohoric is up there, and it's Valters trying to close the gap. Tiesj Benoot's about last in line of that group. Valters does a great job of bringing back Matej Mohoric as the road starts to rise again. This pitch is still probably about 7-8% for a few hundred meters. We see Matej Mohoric blows. Tiesj Benoot throws in another acceleration because nobody will work together in this group of 5 back there to bring back Tom Pidcock. As we see games being played all over, Valters again, he sees Matej Mohoric, his head goes down. He knows the Slovenian's done, so Valters bridges across again up to the leading group of 3 up there. Now we got 4 guys chasing. Guess what? They play more games. They go wide. Matej Mohoric comes back, and the time gap to Tom Pidcock keeps going out. Now we're talking about 1 kilometer to go. Tom Pidcock's got a 30-second gap. We know he's going to win Strade Bianche. He's just got to stay on the pedals and go through the massive crowds all the way up the final climb here. He'll crest the top with about 400 meters to go. Right turn there, and we know everything's locked up as he celebrates coming across the line to win his first big road race victory here for his career at Strade Bianche. I know he's got other wins, but this is a massive win here because this is a classic. Could end up being one of the monuments as everyone talks about. Personally, I think it's got to be at least 250K if you're going to call it a monument, but that's just me up here on the butterfly effect. Now behind, what happened? Valentin Madouas, FDJ, he threw in a big effort to come across the line for second. Tiesj Benoot will round out the podium for third. And Rui Acosta, Intermarché, will get fourth on the stage, out-sprinting Valters, who crosses the line fifth. After the stage, there's an interview with Tom Pidcock. And he says he thought he almost blew his chance by going so early. And I got to agree. Guys, this was a beautiful race. I am not arguing with how beautiful and how fun it was to watch. Every kilometer was exciting. You know it from a smile on my face at this moment. But when Tom Pidcock goes at 52 kilometers, when he's solo at 40 kilometers, when he's got to drop 2 of the original breakaway guys and still go, when he's got to hold off so many groups behind chasing him, and one's Mathieu van der Poel, which you don't know what kind of form Mathieu van der Poel has. Okay, we know later his form wasn't good, but you don't really know it at that point in time. When you got 2 riders from Bahrain Victorious, 2 riders from Frances de Jure, 2 riders from Jumbo-Visma back there chasing, and they can't get well organized to bring back a 30-second gap, you got to know that you had a little bit of luck on today's race. Now, was he phenomenal? Did he have great form? Tom Pidcock's legs were amazing, but he still needed some luck. He still needed some chemistry back there. And when we watched the interview from Matej Mohoric, he says the exact same thing I was thinking. Tom Pidcock got a little bit lucky up there because there wasn't any chemistry behind. And when you look at it, I think it was being caused by Tiesj Benoot from Jumbo-Visma. We saw him arguing with Valters, causing some time loss right there. We saw him sitting on, playing all kinds of tactical games in the back. And what was really funny about today's race, when we go all the way back to Kern-Brussels-Kearns, I was making fun of Matej Mohoric of being one of the biggest knuckleheads in the last 5 kilometers I'd ever seen, and Tiesj Benoot just executing that race perfectly. Now you go 1 weekend later here at Strade Bianche, Matej Mohoric is bringing up the tactics that Tiesj Benoot was a big-time knucklehead, not working hard. And, of course, I got to agree with him. Tiesj Benoot, I think, lost any chance of winning here at Strade Bianche with trying to sit on that group back there the whole time and just causing chaos instead of working smoothly together. But it was a great watch. When we're talking about Team Ineos, Tom Pidcock, congratulations, because that was amazing amount of effort. And sometimes you need a little bit of luck. I wouldn't go from that far out if it was myself personally, but it worked out and it was beautiful viewing. Congratulations, Tom Pidcock, for the fantastic victory here at Strade Bianche. Now make sure you guys like and subscribe. Paris-Nice starts tomorrow, bright and early. So I'll see you guys real soon on the Butterfly Effect.